Carlton continue to press. Camporelli threads the eye of the needle. This would be a great goal if he kicks it.
Captain Camporelli tonight leading the way for the Blues with 9 possessions. It's been an awesome performance by Carlton. 7-4-46 to 1-1-7. Lappin with 3 goals. Started forward. Boyd and Cooney really the only contributors for Rodney Eade, Wolsey.
Yes, and we see Rodney Eade speaking to his players, and he'd certainly be stressing the importance of winning some centre bounce clearances, because it's just been a domination by the Blues.
And one of his main worries here is Lance Whitnell, only the 4 disposals, but you can see they're 2 score assists as well as a goal.
Oh, look, he's just been wonderful. And again, 3 marks. He's heading towards his 12 or 14 marks for the game. He's such an unselfish player. Unbelievable miss by Favola, but he is moving, he's covering a lot of ground. They started with Rawlings on him. He had no idea how to control Whitnell, and we can see Robert Murphy, much smaller, playing on him. And that was a good move, but it looks as if Rawlings has been given the opportunity to redeem himself, and I hope he can do that. And there's Bandy, who's been brought on. He started the game on the interchange bench. Bandy's gone to centre-half forward. Brett Thornton playing on him.
So second quarter, let's see if the Dogs have anything in mind here in terms of how they approach this second quarter. Darcy starts with a free possession, and he makes the most of it and gives Johnson a chance on the lead. And he's going to get a free here.
Gee, they're red hot on that, the umpires. We've seen about 3 or 4 free kicks for a touch in the back.
Gives us a chance to get down to Christy Malthouse with a report from the quarter-time huddles.
Thanks, Anthony. Well, I mentioned last week about Carlton, the way they were looking at working as a team. Well, in that first quarter, a couple of times we saw Brendan Favola and Lappin run all the way to the back line to congratulate their teammates after they got the ball onto them and they managed to kick a goal. So really good team signs for Carlton.
We'll just watch as Johnson kicks and kicks well. So the Bulldogs' second goal, Eagleton and Johnson, the goal kickers. And well, at least the Dogs start with one, Wolsey.
Yes, and they got a centre clearance, which was so important to them. And Christy Malthouse is right. Christy said that, you know, he had Favola and Whitnell running 100 metres into defence to congratulate the players back there for setting goals up. And they are playing with enormous spirit. But I'm sure part of the message, Tim, from Rodney Eade would have been to his young Bulldogs, all is not lost. We can chip our way back into this game by winning each quarter, maybe by 2 goals and then another 2. That's a good start.
Good quote in the press today. Dennis Pagan, who of course had Rodney Eade as one of his assistants in the early days at the Kangaroos, once said, everyone can tell you what's going wrong, but he's one bloke who can actually tell you how to fix it. And that's what he would have been working on at quarter time. Hard ball in there. Stevens, who might be able to play in the final if the Blues make it. Big wedding coming up. Big decision coming up. Chambers, mown down, got it off. Carlton moving the ball quickly, but Carazzo's kick a bit strong. Lappin could kick his 4th.
So Lappin got the crumbs from that little jump from Harris. He just couldn't hang on to it. And the Blues restore their 39-point lead here at the Telstra Dome. Again, Darcy very interested in the movements of French there. Chambers has dived in on top of it. He had the responsibility to knock it out. The umpire said he did. McGrath gets it further adrift. West to Gilby. Bowden now into the thick of the action. This is Farron Ray off the left. Johnson is the primary target, you get the feeling down there. Grant and Gin Syracuse are swarming as well. Bannister, who is Johnson's direct opponent, feeding it out, but Eagleton swooping and missing.
Better signs for the Dogs. Some good heavy tackling in the centre contest, and they kept the pressure on right up to that forward pocket scrimmage. Alas, Eagleton's kick didn't finish the job. Thornton, cool stuff. Bannister, good long run, breaking the Bulldogs open. Oh, ran a long
Too
way.
far. Too far, Tim. Good call. Eagleton persisted in the chase and was rewarded.
Bold
Showed
stuff,
some,
wasn't it?
showed some toe, didn't he?
He did. That's a good kick to Johnson's lead. He kicked the goal to get them going at the start of the quarter. He gives this off to Gian Syracuse. Doesn't like that angle and goes to Ray.
Well, they they persisted in the short pass until they could get somebody with a reasonable shot at goal, and that's well done. And I guess the other thing is multiple uses of the ball. They need it for their confidence at the moment.
Very confusing when you look at the close-up on the screen and you see the same face as that of your co-commentator sitting next to you.
And look, a thing like Wolsey.
You're talking about me or Hutto?
Ray from 35. Oh, well done. Dogs have their third.
The ruggedly handsome Farron Ray kicks a goal for the Bulldogs and reduces the margin back to 33. Darcy going backwards and sending the Blues forward. Camporelli says thank you very, very, very much, but not quite enough.
Well, you can hear Luke Darcy's sigh of relief from here.
That was worth 12 points, I reckon, if that had gone through. Gilby, this time he remembered to kick it to himself, Tim.
He'll never forget to do that again, I would suggest. And he makes the most of it with a long run and a good delivery, perfectly weighted for Harris. The full-back who made his way to the wing could provide a target.
Bulldogs look better with a taller forward line. Bandy up there to help Grant.
Horrible kick from Harris, wobbling at all angles. Eagleton, been lively, hemmed in, kept his head, if not his hair. But Bannister, who is looking like a very accomplished player. We mentioned last week 10th in their best and fairest last year. Was a very good debut year at Optus Oval. Oh, Camporelli, big ask for him there. Bowden arrives, plenty to beat.
Ooh.
And Teague is a hard man. The angelic looks belie a bloke with some real mongrel. Bowden's down and in trouble. Carrazzo's kick is poor. And young Tom Williams has his second possession of the Sherrin, having spent his first 15 or 16 years kicking a rugby ball or throwing it.
And now he's getting it up to half-forward play. Really should be stopped, you'd think, in this situation. The danger is immense, but it goes on.
Good spoil by young Williams, Hutto. You're right, they should stop the game. A clash of heads this was, and you can see Bowden going down and Teague getting in there a bit lower, a bit harder. Might have been on the hip as we look at it there.
Plenty around the ball, as we've come to expect. Bandy with the tap, down to Williams. Oh, he knows how to do it, Torp. And what a beauty it was. Oh, this time, Teague doesn't care what jumper or colour jumper it is. He just goes in hard and usually leaves plenty in his weight. The Blues somehow get out of it. Gilby to fly against Lappin. Good judgment shown by Cross to Cooney, who gets clear. And again goes for Johnson, who's leading up well, but he is leading wide, Wolsey.
He is leading wide, but that was a really good pass by Cooney. And Bannister, as Tim mentioned, playing on Brad Johnson. That is a real show of confidence by coach Dennis Pagan, because Brad Johnson is a star, has been for a long while.
Well, here he is. Kicked 4 goals in the opening 2 matches, 3 against Sydney and 1 against St Kilda. He misses there. And the Blues lead is now 33. There's Bowden on screen. And then the Wizard Cup, we wait for no one as Camporelli brings it back in and finds Scotland.
Gives to Carrazzo and keeps coming to take the hand pass. Good running player as Heath Scotland. He was a good get from Collingwood. Grand final player with the Magpies. Camporelli receives from Chambers and delivers perfectly.
Another example of the Carlton kick-in to a marking forward without a Bulldogs player touching the ball or even look like touching the ball. The skill level of the Blues has been very, very good. And they are just running and playing on and taking the ball forward as quickly as they can to prevent the flood that the Bulldogs might try to put on.
Just third entry to the 50 for the Blues in the term, but they've scored from each entry so far. Favola became just the 9th man to score 50 goals in pre-season or night competition since it began in 1956 last week. From inside 50, here's a beautiful kick. Carlton stretch it again.
Still plenty of headaches for Rodney Eade. Darcy's main man, he's in the ruck. Cross goes for Bandy at centre-half forward. Good spoil from Thornton, but Cooney was in the right place. And the sweeping handball was effective. Grant trying to find some room. He finds some room. He can't get enough on the kick. And that's a terrific mark and goal from Brad Johnson, who really is a star.
Do you visit
Adam Cooney has game-breaking speed and skills. He it was who set that up for Chris Grant, and then Brad Johnson to kick his second of the quarter. Spawn doing the job on West and doing it pretty well. West has had little influence. Cambriali nowhere to go.
Can't get it out, no fire.
Margin 33. Carlton have kicked 9 goals already. They only need 5 more, assuming they win this match, and that's not decided yet, to win a home final. Syracuse. Bulldogs playing with a bit more authority, although going the long way here. Robert Murphy. Again, they haven't got the penetration in their kicking. Carlton up in numbers. Spawn working his way back. There's a whistle and a relayed free kick to the Blues.
Yeah, John, back a metre and you're okay.
Carazzo to take it. Deep in defence for Carlton. Thornton.
Play on quick, Tim.
Oh, gee, took a while, and he got it off, but just before the collision. Scotland.
That was high, Jordan!
Free against McMahon here, and it will be relayed to the wing for the Jordan Bannister is the offending player.
The wrong Jordan.
So it's the Bulldogs free kick.
Yeah, and Bannister's been taken off because Brad Johnson was doing such a good job, and Spawn has been moved on to Johnson.
Well, Rawlings decided to move quickly after receiving, and it was a good decision.
Yeah, and good kick by Jade Rawlings. Just put it out in space, let Cooney run onto it. Cooney needs to forget about anything and everything else except kicking a goal. He's certainly within goal-kicking distance. He's a good player. Just put all the concentration into putting it through. Well done by Rawlings to set that up.
7 possessions for the night for Cooney. In the first 2 weeks, 17 and 14, so starting in pretty good style and leading the way in clearances, so winning plenty of ball for himself. But this is all about accuracy here, and he couldn't quite come up with the goods, and the Dogs have had some chances in this second quarter.
They're well down, but Cooney's performance so far, I think, has given them something to enjoy tonight. Carried the burden last year of being #1 selection in the national draft. Dogs win it away. Gilby, poor kick. Still a chance. Boyd, good tackle by Cambriali. Not 15, Thornton under the pump. Had plenty of helpers. Cambriali again.
It's all right. All right, he didn't let go. He was just hanging on. Great call by the boundary umpire.
It was out.
Straight to him.
So a throw in. Cambriali, as he so often does, feeling the heat from the opposition side. So many times a targeted player hasn't always appreciated it, but gets used to it. Darcy. Thornton. Carlton feeling some pressure back there now. And that's a push. Murphy's ball for the Dogs.
He's looking to move it quickly. Bandy is moving around, but there's plenty of bodies down there. Darcy comes out. That's a good fierce. Camporelli will feel some more heat here. His composure was terrific. Houlihan misses. And that's the three-point rule coming into play there.
Exactly, Hutto. Houlihan would have normally just run that ball over the line. Didn't want to give up 3 points. And Cooney, another skill error.
You'd think he was kicking to the lead from Lappin there. Up to Favola on the wing. There's no one ahead of them. Favola will have no one to kick to here.
That is just so confident by Brendan Favola. Push your opponent back and juggle it on one hand.
Now he's got some targets. Williams came through for the Dogs. This is Bandy. Back to Ray, who's only got backwards options. Backs his skills to go for Boyd, but turned out to be a poor decision as Whitnell marks and gives Chambers another chance to have a long shot at goal, which he's been mighty successful at so far in the Wizard Cup.
Well, he's kicked 5 goals from outside 50. This won't count for a 9-pointer. That he kicked from outside 50 didn't count. One, because the umpires mucked it up. And the other, I think, was an example like this, Tim, where he probably makes connection outside 50, but the man on the mark was inside.
Well, you saw there the efficiency of the Blues in this quarter compared to the Dogs. They're still alive. Walker! Oh, he shows his sublime skills. The Bulldogs players aren't happy. There's a conference down here about whether the ball...
The Bulldogs players stopped chasing.
Still in
all clear.
And it's a goal by the sound of it.
Yeah, the Bulldogs players stopped chasing. They thought it was out, and you cannot afford to do that.
Now Walker kicks the goal.
He just snevelled it in.
Looked all right.
Yeah, he looks more than all right, doesn't he?
Yep. But the whole of the ball has to cross the line. I don't think it touched the post. The boundary umpire couldn't have been in much better position.
Yeah. Just a good lesson for the Bulldogs players. Don't give up. Don't presume.
And good that the umpires umpired the game and weren't talked into backing down on a decision that they believed in.
Good to see the extra boundary umpire they've been using in this Wizard Cup coming to some use there.
Absolutely. 38-point lead. Here's West, defensive side, well tied up by Johnson, who might be on him now, as Carlton rotate against the Bulldog champion in midfield.
And Carlton have got Ian Prendergast in the ruck. He's become a very, very handy player for them. You see Prendergast rucking.
Darcy beats him beautifully to Boyd. Coops from behind could never get into the contest. And David Teague, who somehow retains those angelic looks, but despite the fact that he puts his head week in, week out where most people wouldn't put their boot. This is Prendergast. Lappin likes to fly. Williams read it well. He's looked pretty good to McMahon for Johnson, but well played by Spawn, who's gone back. Cooney now. Can he kick a long one? Can he run it home? He runs it home, but he can't kick it straight.
And Chris Grant in picture. Rodney Eade said, I better get somebody back there to hold things up. So he's playing as a loose man in defence. And that means it's going to be pretty hard for the Bulldogs to score.
Well, the Bulldogs have come in this second quarter. They've had a crack, but they've been unable to score as they would have liked up forward. And the Blues on the counter-attack have been a lot more effective. Right now they need some goals. Eagleton hurried. It's been the order of the day for the Dogs in this quarter in attack. Numbers again prevailing. Thornton out for Walker. There's plenty to like about the Blues tonight. And Walker's certainly one of them.
Blood rule. Kick. And I think Eagleton's got a gash on the top of his head, which he got in the first quarter.
Hard to hide for Eagleton.
The bald Eagleton.
Mitch Hahn, no touches in the last 18 minutes, and he's an important player. Lance Whitnell gone missing. Gee, he's probably exhausted.
Would you drag him?
No, I think Lance will just go and put himself in the back line for the Blues. He tends to do that late in quarters.
Camporelli goes to Carazzo. He puts it out wide. Space for Prendergast to run into and onto the ball. And again, over the top to Spawn. Another one of these promising Carlton youngsters. Oh, Whitnell got a bit of a shove in there. Play on was the call. Johnson busy. Out to Stevens. He finds a way. Didn't get all the way through, though. Pace and skill from Chambers to keep it alive. This is Lappin now. Somehow got it inboard. Prendergast puts it through. And another one on the board. In fact, it's Scotland for the Blues.
Pete Scotland kicks his first. Here's a stat you'll like, Rob. In this quarter, the Bulldogs have been inside 50 14 times for 3 goals 3. Carlton have been in 5 times for 4 goals 1. Deadly efficiency from Carlton. cross on the ground for the Dogs. Down goes Gian Syracuse. Carlton's aggression has been tremendous, whether they've had the footy or their opponents have had it.
An area where they have picked up the Western Bulldogs is in the clearances. Got smashed in the first quarter. 8-2 their way in this term.
Darcy knocking it well clear.
9-2.
Power. Oh, shocking skill error to Lappin. Now Whitnell taken under it by Rawlings. Just edging him under the ball. McMahon. Grant moving for him. Now Griffin.
Gee, it's a wall of blue down there in the Bulldog forward line.
This is Williams, the 18-year-old for Johnson. Perfect delivery. Good skill from Williams.
And he had to go wide because it was just a mass of navy blue in that middle corridor. He couldn't lead up the middle of the ground. And the Blues are flooding more so than the Bulldogs.
He's been a ray of light for them, hasn't he, young Williams, for the Dogs?
He's been good. He's quite athletic for a tall player. He's good at ground level.
Dennis Pagan predicted the flood. He was right. Johnson 4 marks inside 50 this quarter, but they've all been out in spots like this. In fact, this is the toughest of the lot.
Blood rule.
There's a blood rule, so
against whom?
Rawlings coming off.
To Jono.
Johnson arguing over where the mark was and what angle he should be on here.
Jade Rawlings coming off to get attended to by the trainers, and Patrick Bowden coming back on. You see there, he's got a knock to the top of the scone.
There are only about 3 or 4 players not inside the 50. This is the super flood from the Blues. Now Kieran Nichols saying to Johnson he's got to kick over the mark. I reckon after the incident we saw at the other end of this ground last Saturday night, where a player played on other than over the mark from outside the boundary line, and the umpires were embarrassed. They've tightened up, being very particular here. Long testing shot just beyond him, and it looks like a behind, or is it still alive? It's not anymore.
Clear square, clear square.
Carlton's lead 42 points late in the second term.
And this is where the Blues are dangerous, because all the players are out of position, and we've seen it several times. There's Whitnell taking it. They take it from full back to full forward without a Bulldog touching it.
It goes for Walker, who again shows his array of skills to outpoint a much larger opponent. Yeah, good to see he and young Cooney for the Dogs, both a couple of stars from the draft a couple of years ago, in full flight tonight. Well, it's certainly gone more Carlton's way as Power gets things moving. This is Gian Syracuse easing onto the right boot. Goes to Ray instead. The galloping Darcy sets it up for Bandy. Cooney to come from behind. He stays back, and he might be able to kick a goal here. Oh, what did he do? He almost threw it away.
Doesn't have the ball.
Through the free kick.
Gonna get a free kick.
Doesn't have the ball. Adams kick.
He finessed it well. He drew the tackle.
Let's have a look.
A bit like Chris Grant at Aurora Stadium in Launceston last Friday night.
Free kick stats for the quarter are interesting, only by their number, 6-0 in favour of the Dogs. The umpire's advisor will tell you that means nothing. Cooney, oh, misses, play on! Can you believe it from there? Touch of the Favolas. Darcy across the face. Cooney couldn't get it, Spawn. And it's over and out. Wow.
He's kicked 3 behinds.
Look at
and missed that one.
Scotty West in picture. Gee, he's having a pretty tough half. He's only had 7 disposals. He normally has 17 at this stage of a game.
Bulldogs desperate for a couple of goals before half-time, and Cooney wasted. Oh, he gave one away there, but Griffin fumbled. Ray keeping it alive for them. Grant beaten to the ball by Thornton, and Livingston takes his hand pass, and away go the Blues, who have been very dangerous on the rebound. Johnson led West to it. And the Dogs are just about devoid of confidence by halfway.
Carlton without a player in their forward 50. Favola about 65 metres out.
Straighten the footy, can you answer? Don't hold.
Whitnell and Bandy here.
Don't hold. What's the backs? One.
Bandy the first hand on it. All Carlton. Scotland. Camporeale.
That's a clever kick. That's a clever kick because it's a 3-on-1. You can see Favola with 3 Bulldogs, and as good as Favola is, he can't beat 3. So Camporeale just said, I'll gain 50 metres by putting it towards the boundary line. And that is a telling stat, isn't it? Inside 50s for this quarter, 16-5. And yet Carlton have capitalised whenever they've taken it forward.
And they've kicked 4 goals to 3 for the term. McMahon to Gian Siracusa. Just couldn't find an option he liked. Rawlings now. Time enough for the Dogs in the last minute. Hahn to Rawlings, patched up scalp now. Has the former Hawk, good delivery. Ray, who kicked one of their 3 goals in this quarter. Johnson and Darcy both there. And they both got into a bit of a tangle. And Walker, who has shone in the last few minutes, didn't shine there. Griffin getting it off. Power to ram it home for the Bulldogs. And they get a desperately needed goal.
So it's back to 36. Can the Dogs race it forward in 25 seconds? Minson at least gives them the chance. Faulkner. Griffin.
Big Will.
Back to Will. But Lappin, who has continued to defy the Dogs at either end of the ground. That's an interesting torpedo, an effective one. Scotland moving quickly, and it's the Blues with one last chance. They line up, and that's DeLuca. Right on the siren. A real heartbreaker for the Bulldogs if he can put this one through.
Well, it will be, Hutto, because they've worked pretty hard, the Bulldogs. And if this one goes through, they'll be pretty flat when they walk in at half-time. And already 36 points down.
And if he kicks this, the Blues only need 2 in the second half if they win the match to ensure that the final is played here.
Now, here's DeLuca. Well inside the 50. And what a way to finish off the first half for the Blues, who could well be marching to a grand final place against the West Coast Eagles in the Wizard Cup.
That is a commanding lead, 12-5 to 5-5, and it's a pretty fair reflection of the gap between the teams through the first half.
I think the work rate of the Bulldogs certainly picked up in that second quarter, but their skill level and some of their decision-making has been really disappointing.
All right, half-time here, and the margin 42 points in favour of the Blues. It's a big weekend of sport on Network 10. Of course, it's Australian Grand Prix Day tomorrow. The big names of motor racing: Schumacher versus Webber, Quartermain versus Maguire.
Have 3 ambitions on Sunday.